Hey guys, Luna here with the review, and as you may or may not know, Coldplay is about to release their 9th studio album called Music of the Spheres this October 15th. So I thought that it would be a good idea for us to look back at all 8 albums that Coldplay has released till this day and have a little review on them while we wait for the new album to drop. So today's review is going to be about Coldplay's very first album, Parachutes. Parachutes was released back in the year 2000, July 10th. There isn't much to say about this album, basically because it's just a collection of pop rock songs and folky ballads. But really, I don't think that Coldplay wanted to do anything like that either. I think that they were just trying to release a couple of good songs for people to pay attention to them and to get mainstream audience into their music. This would explain why the second release of Coldplay is such a shift in their sound. Every single song on the album has a nice composition, nice production, nice songwriting, and a good performance by the whole band. Something curious that you might realize while you're listening to this album is that there's not a single track that stands out from the rest. Every single track has the same level of quality, or that's the impression I get every time I listen to this album, and I've listened to this album quite a few times along the years. Basically because all of the songs have the same sort of composition, a nice guitar tune, a really amazing and moody bass line. Guy Berryman is at his best in this album, by the way. Some really quiet drumming and a really nice vocal performance by Chris Martin, which almost seems like he doesn't know how to sing, but he still tries to. It kind of reminds me of Leonard Cohen singing or Bob Dylan singing. Not in the same style, but I think that we can both agree that Bob Dylan didn't really know how to sing, but still he sang with such passion that it comes out good. The same thing happens with Chris Martin. Still, this album is far from perfect. I believe that there's quite a few things that this album could have done better. For example, the fact that a couple of tracks in here seem completely out of place, just put in there because of how popular the tracks were. Because in most of the tracks in this album, Chris Martin sings in a really low volume, the bass sounds almost as loud as the guitar, and the drumming by Will is almost just there for atmosphere, not really important. It doesn't really matter. And then in songs like Yellow, you get a really loud guitar riff that is not even in the same tuning as the rest of the songs. You get a really loud singing by Chris Martin and a really thunderous drumming by Will Champion, and you can barely hear the bass line by Guy Berryman. So it's a different production. It doesn't feel like it belongs in the same album. And the same thing happens with the song Trouble. It's a different kind of production, different kind of performance, different kind of arrangement. It doesn't really feel like it belongs on the same album. And if you were to say that this is a point where the album starts to be like that, it's a shift in the sound of the album halfway through, it'll be perfectly fine. But it isn't. After these first 2 songs are finished, there's the same kind of production, the same kind of style, and the same kind of performance by the whole band again. So those 2 songs seems more like they put it in just because of how popular the songs were at the time. Also, there's that song High Speed, which is basically the reason behind all of those Radiohead comparisons. This is basically a Radiohead song with Chris Martin performing the vocals. That's it. There's nothing about that song that brings me the name of Coldplay. Nothing. It's not a bad song, but still, it feels so weird listening to a Coldplay song that sounds like this because it's just definitely not their style. Still, I believe that many of the songs in this album sound really fresh till this day, 21 years after its release. I believe that the album served as a really good introduction to the sound of the band and what the band would do in the future. This album, in a way, makes me feel nostalgic about a life that I've never lived. I don't know if that makes sense. Listen to the album and you'll understand. The production, the vocals, it's just a really special album to me. It was one of the first albums I've heard in this kind of style, and honestly, I think it's a really good album. You're not gonna find anything special, anything groundbreaking, you're not gonna find anything that original, but still, the album doesn't try to be that. The album just tries to be a really nice, beautiful experience. Short as well, the album isn't really that long. So yeah, I think that if that's what you're looking for, just an album to relax, just listen to some nice music, this is definitely it. And I think that just as I did, you're gonna find that this album is actually really enjoyable. This album gets an 8. A strong, solid 8. I really enjoy this album. What do you guys think about the album? Please leave a comment down below with your opinion. Leave a like if you enjoyed the review. The next review is going to be A Rush of Blood to the Head, their second studio album. I'm really excited about that one. So if you want to see that review, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.